your neuro dive corner. And I know I haven't been here for a couple of days, for a little while. Life happens, and this is not a full-time job for me, part-time or anything like that. This is more of a hobby type of thing. So do apologize for not posting in a couple of days. And I do want to thank everybody that has been subscribing and has been watching the videos. And again, there may need more caregivers. But I'm the type of person that I cannot express myself. That drives me insane. And on top of that, for whatever little amount of time we have the ability to use platforms, I want to educate people. I want to foster empathy. I want people to realize that there is so much more than unites us, than what makes us different. And my own career, it's one of the things that it's making me feel like I'm alone, screaming into the void for help. And so I'm making the video about that, about social services, and what is happening with social services in this country. And I know everybody watches the news, you're on your socials, so for the most part you are aware of the things that are taking place. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting whiplash with all of this, just because a lot of the stuff that is happening touches me so directly that I don't have the ability to go hide in a bubble or go hide in a silo and act like everything is okay. And that's why I wanted to talk about it today. So we keep seeing that this administration has declared war on social services. And as a country, we are not doing any favors, because we have for so long created a stigma around asking for help. We have actually made it, and I do have to say that millennials and Gen Z, you guys kind of have the right idea in advocating for yourselves and setting boundaries, because my generations and older, that's where we went wrong. We made asking for help a sin, a weakness, something that is frowned upon. And that got attached to social services. So anybody that, God forbid, is going through hard times and reaches out for help, for the longest in this country, we have looked down on people when they reach out for help. And that's why right now this administration is mowing down all social services networks, and everybody's just like frozen, I'm sorry. And that is extremely frustrating. One of the main things that hit me today when I was reflecting on this is Medicaid. And why Medicaid? I'll tell you why. Everybody thinks is for certain that they are not going to touch funding. They will try to come for the funding. Trust and believe they will. This is an oligarchy, and everybody here is looking for the green. Everybody's looking for making their bag and making their money. So do not rest assured that the funding is going to be there, number one. And number two, they don't have to come for the funding. If they continue to get rid of personnel, you might as well cut the funding, because you are making the program impossible to run. Um, Anybody that is familiar with social services knows that anybody that works as a social worker or similar roles in this country, we're not even middle class anymore. The job itself is incredibly demanding. The caseloads are crazy as it is, and they're firing personnel. So that right there should be the clue to people that this country is no longer for everybody. And I'll tell you why. One of the biggest things that you always hear from people in this country clutching their pearls is, oh, but the children. And you have all of the pro-life, and I'm sorry that I'm doing air quotations, it's just the whole pro-life movement has always boggled my mind, because for being pro-life, most of them support the most horrible things. But again, everybody's always like, oh, but the children. Have you thought which population is one of the main recipients of Medicaid services? Foster children. Not foster children, children in the foster care system, because that's horrible too. They're not foster kids, they're children. They're our children, because it takes a village. Yes, it still takes a village to raise a child. But that is one of the populations that is going to get affected immediately, and barely has anybody to actually advocate for them and stand up for them. Across this country, you have children that are going to sleep in an office tonight because they are in the foster care system and they have not found placement. They have not found a foster family, a group home, whatever the case might be. And all of those children in foster care, the thousands of children that we have in foster care, they all depend from Medicaid Direct. All of their health is managed from normal health care to behavioral health care. The whole thing is managed by Medicaid Direct. If they cut funding, you are literally leaving children at their most vulnerable point in life out to not even fend for themselves, because that's where social services come in. That's what we do. So again, if we already have children that have to spend the night at an office and have to constantly be changing doctors and schools and all of that, do we honestly think that the right move is to cut funding and to cut personnel? We cannot allow this, people. If you actually care, if you actually are pro-life, if you actually care about children, families, and all of that, we need to stand up in solidarity. We need to use our voices for however long they allow us. Because trust me, if this keeps coming the way it's coming, this is not the freedom of speech that's kind of like the last bastion that makes this country great. That's pretty much out the window already to a certain extent. So for however long we are able, we need to rally around each other and actually get our priorities straight and be an advocate for those that are most vulnerable. And again, look it up, look at in any of the federal websites and even in your county webpage and everything. If you are curious, go and search how many children are currently in place. Even count kinship, we're not talking about with grandma, when with the auntie, when with the uncle. We're talking about children that are in foster care, in group homes and stuff like that. They depend on social services to be up and running so they can thrive, be happy, be safe, and sometimes find a permanent home. So that's my little rant for today. Thank you to all of those that joined. Thank you to BB8. Thank you to Amara12 for joining the live stream. Please share, like, and subscribe. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, lift each other up. We have to help each other. Nobody's an island. And we can get through anything if we lift each other rather than oppress and stomp on each other. Good night. Talk to you guys soon.